Come with us behind the scenes as the Tanium Tech Talks crew talks Tanium Converge 2025.
Welcome back to Tanium Tech Talks. We are your hosts, Ashley McGlone.
Alex Miller.
And Josh Sachs.
Today we have an insider's look for you. We have done this show for the last 2 years at least. I know with Doug Thompson's been on, and we've talked about, hey, this is what we saw at Converge. Now this year we have our two new hosts here, all three of us on site at Converge Orlando 2025. Tons of things to talk about because even with the three of us there, it's impossible to take it all in even 3 days, right? So there's so much going on. We're going to share what we saw and what you might like. If even so, my point is, even if you were there, it was impossible to take it all in because there's so much going on. So we're going to share our perspective. So Alex and Jesh, what do you think? What was? Let's start out with the fun part. What did you enjoy the most?
Every Converge, it's the same. It's the conversations with customers. Um, my personal favorite one was hearing a customer talk about something they wanted. They wanted to see more cloud security and Tanium. It wasn't even related to anything we were announcing. And then I just happened to find someone who could connect with them, could talk to them about that very topic that I didn't even know we could talk to them about. So being able to make those connections, get people in touch, get people the info, the knowledge they need to just level up, that was huge for me. I loved it.
Not to piggyback on what Jesh said too much, but my favorite part about the entire experience was the certifications. We spent, and people will end up seeing this, we spent a lot of time interviewing a lot of the people that took our certifications, and we kept hearing the same story over and over again, right? How all of a sudden, one day they started using Tanium and it's completely changed the way they do business, right? It's made their lives so much easier, so much more enjoyable. They were excited to show up, they were excited to talk to us. And they were my favorite part. I I have an English degree and I wanted to be a teacher a long time ago. So my favorite part was people being excited about their next steps, right? Like I'm so excited to use Tanium to do this thing, or I'm so excited to take this next step certification. It's a very exciting time all around.
Some of you did attend virtually, and that's a great experience to get the virtual labs, virtual keynotes. But there's so much more to being there in person because you don't have the hotel lobby bar at home. We had so many conversations in the hallway track, right? At conferences, the hallway track. So all those side conversations, so many people coming up to all of us here saying, thank you for the videos. Hey, I passed my certification today because I watched your videos. They help so much. So thank you to all of our loyal viewers out there. And we're going to continue to bring this fantastic content your way so that to help enable you to pass those certification exams. And it was a lot of fun. We got to do those interviews. So here in the channel at the end, we'll promote it again. But we've got dropping, if not today, very soon. You're going to see the CTF, the certification interviews Alex mentioned, and then also the lab recap videos where you get to see a little bit of a taste and a flavor of what it was like on site for people taking the labs as well. Let's see. I remember a bus ride to Universal with Alex and Jesh and another person from our team. We had a blast over there, and somebody talked me to getting onto the Velocicoaster. Oh my goodness. So you got these lockers. You're supposed to put your stuff in the locker. And I had my little bag that I put all my stuff in, tucked it in there, but I didn't hear the part about taking off your glasses. And this is one of
You
those.
almost killed someone.
Oh my, it's like one of this magnetic launch, it's like sets you back, right? And all of a sudden I'm hanging on to my glasses like this for 2 minutes, bouncing all over the place. It was a little bit hard for me to enjoy, I have to say. But Universal was nice. Yes. All the conversations and walking around and chatting with customers. And yeah. What about you guys? What did you remember about either the reception Monday night or the Universal party?
Yeah, well, I know we're gonna get into the more announcements and stuff like that for Tanium, but I do want to mention that if you are a fan of roller coasters, you do need to hang out with Jesh Sachs because she wants to ride absolutely everything all evening. All right, I was struggling to keep up, so
It was fun. The Velocicoaster, I think I did back to back as well as a couple of the other ones. So we all need to get our dopamine from somewhere.
Yeah. What was the Hulk coaster like?
So
It was
yeah, so I'm from Toledo, Ohio, right? I got Cedar Point, America's roller coast, about 50 minutes away. I grew up on roller coasters. The Hulk definitely felt like early 2000s Cedar Point to me, right? Like beautiful ride, super fun ride. Oh my God, it was a blast. But you're also at the end of it for an old man like me. You're kind of feeling it in your spine a little bit, from shaking around a little bit. The Velocicoaster, however, that was so smooth and fun and enjoyable.
I
I will
wouldn't use the
second all of
word
that.
smooth, but I'm glad you enjoyed it. Oh
Oh my
boy.
God.
So speaking of smooth, day zero. All right. So here's the thing, folks. All right. If you're watching this, and then we're gonna send you at the end of this video, don't go right now, but at the end, we're gonna send you right back to where we sent you all year long, converge.tanium.com, a free login. If you don't have one, create one, and you can watch the videos from day one, day two, day three on the main stage. Well, they start numbering those days at 1 on Tuesday, but our crew for this show is there on day zero. All right. Because that's when the labs and the CTF primarily take place. So we have a CTF interview that you can watch after this. So, Jesh and Alex, you're both more security folks than I am. Tell me about what your impression was of the CTF.
The CTF this year was so much different than what we've done in previous years. And I think what people have experience with. Um, we have some really amazingly intelligent people who can also be a little bit, I don't know if I want to say ruthless, but it was intense. We had boxes being ransomed if you messed up in this CTF. So it was definitely one that I think kept some of our teams on the edge as they went through it, not quite knowing what was going to happen. And in a lot of ways, I feel like that mimics real life. So, yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. I agree with Jesh, actually. I think the word ruthless is probably the most apt word here. We're both security focused. I've been a part of CTFs in the past. It's always fun, right? Uh, Trying to fix things without breaking it, things like that. But as soon as you start talking polymorphic malware and like crazy things like that, I was like, okay. And even afterward, we spoke with the author, and he briefly mentioned it wasn't really designed to be completed, right? And when you see some of these teams just knocking it out of the park, I have no idea where this knowledge base comes from. So many amazingly talented people partook in this CTF.
So
And we had
congratulations, yes, congratulations to all those teams that gutted it out. And again, CTF is for all levels. The capture the flag, right? So you've got these challenges. Now this one didn't even have a lot of guidance. Like you're just kind of free. It's like what's a massively I'm sorry, MMORPG, right? Massively multiplayer,
Multiplayer
open
online.
world type thing, right? That's
Yep.
kind of what the CTF was like. It's like, hey, here's your VMs. What happened? Go find it. You got Tanium, you got some things here to play with. And then if you start tinkering too much, like Jesh said, boop. Oh,
fun stuff.
100%. And usually on your scorecards, you might have a few hints or something like that, things to look at. None of that was provided today. And it just reminded me, when I was practicing this summer with like Eternal Blue. I know it's a little bit older, but like it can break stuff pretty easily, right? And then you don't have another chance to get in. And I'm like, oh my God, these poor people are like trying to get into certain boxes and just knocking them out right away.
mhm.
Right. And as we were talking about, it wasn't necessarily designed to be finished. I think one team like snuck under the wire and actually finished, found all the like all of the flags, defanged the malware. Um, and that I think I was impressed by, as was the very creator of the CTF. Like we have some amazing teams out there. I love it too because as an enablement and training person, we have the fun activities, right? But for this one, it really helped those teams who did partake identify where they may have gaps. Oh, we found everything but these one things. That means we are missing this strategy in our investigation, which can actually really help then to up level those teams. So I appreciated that.
Yeah, I'm so glad you said that, and you reminded me when we interviewed the author and he spoke. He was like, it wasn't designed to be completed. It was designed to show people exactly where their knowledge gaps may exist.
Yeah, it's a learning experience, right? There's struggle. You have to struggle to learn. That's part of the learning process. So there's plenty of struggle going on in the CTF. Well, then we also had all the labs, and uh, probably the best thing for you to do is just to check out on the playlist those lab interviews here, because we did have a lot of just current breaking tech that you could only get your hands on there for the first time. So that was some really good experience. And then Monday night was the reception. I'd like to thank all of our partners who sponsored Converge this year. That's one of the great things about this event is you can go talk to all these different partners who can help you with services and hands-on keyboard and they get to see Tanium across so many different environments, and they've got a lot to offer. So when you go to the Converge website, be sure to check out our sponsors, the partners who were there. Lots of great people. If I start naming names, I'll get in trouble because I won't remember all of them. But there are a lot of great partners there, and just hanging out. Had dueling pianos, I think, Monday night. Yeah, some people singing some good '80s vibes going on.
And just lots of good conversation, right? I mean, I tried to get absolutely everywhere I could. I had tens of thousands of steps over the course of a few days, and every couple minutes I saw Jesh just whizzing past me to get to the next thing to talk to the next person, right? So I'm like, I'm exhausted. I don't know how Jesh had that much energy.
I think I had 100 miles, most of which I did in heels at the end of the week, because that hallway track, Ashley, you mentioned earlier, that's 6 minutes of just niche, like you've got their attention. So that's I was going up and down the hallway. It was so much fun and so much fun to get those live takes and responses too as we got into day one, day two, day three from the breakout or from the keynotes as well as the breakouts and hearing how people were responding to all these fun new product announcements.
So kind of the way so when you go to converge.team.com, get your free account, log in, you can rewatch day one, two, three. So day one was Dan's opener, Dan Streetman, our CEO, talking about the problems that we're solving and introducing this. We'll get to the headline concept in a second. Then there was day two was some special guests, Zach Kass, Sean Bice. And then day three was Jesse Eisenberg. And so day two, you also had the product announcements. Day three, you had product demos. So there's really something for everybody in all three of those videos. And so you want to go back and catch those, even if you were there, because I'm taking notes on my phone in OneNote as I'm watching these and particularly Zach Kass on day two on the Open AI guy. I'm like, I can't type fast enough. Like he just keeps coming with all this amazing stuff, and I put in my notes, go watch this a couple more times because you're going to need to catch it all. Yeah. So what takeaways? Well, I guess we should probably tell everybody it was autonomous IT, unstoppable business. That was day one kicking off. Autonomous IT, not just autonomous endpoint management. That's a little change, AEM, right? Now we're autonomous IT, which includes three other buckets beyond just typical endpoint management. We had Microsoft and ServiceNow partners on the stage. Jesh, Alex, tell folks what they missed there.
I think one of the fun things is Microsoft. We were partner of the year or one of the partners of the year, which I think I love. It just shows kind of that tie, that collaboration that we have as we're continuing to move into this, like you kind of referenced, managing more endpoints, managing more types of things, being able to have those tight connections with our partners. I mean, aside from the message day of, I think was one of my big takeaways is that we have these really great partners to continue developing with.
Yeah, 3 years in a row, partner of the year, Microsoft, whatever flavor of partner of the year, right? But it was some flavor partner of the year, 3 years in a row.
Yeah, and that's actually a good segue for me. I get so excited at these things. I wanted to talk about, all my favorite things I saw at this conference. And the first thing I noticed that you already kind of hit on is I love performing. I love public speaking. I love talking to everyone, right? But when someone's much better at me than that, you kind of just sit there in awe, right? And it kept happening over and over between Dan Streetman and the OpenAI conversation and uh, even Jesse Eisenberg, right? Like people are so talented and giving such good talks the entire time. I don't even know how you were able. I can understand now why you couldn't keep up with notes because very early on in some of these talks, I put my phone down. I was like, all right, I'm just gonna have to try and retain as much of this as possible, right, and be in the moment. But we were talking about our Microsoft partnership, and we recently announced the Microsoft Intune integration, things like that. But we also started this new product announcement that we gave for operational technology, which is something people have been asking for a long time, right? Um, and this is such an exciting thing. People are going to be able to see items that are generally not managed, even though they should be managed, right? These things they can be susceptible to vulnerabilities and things like that. You need to pay attention to whether they're being updated, things like that. And a lot of people don't even know what's in their environment. Like we used to talk years ago, right? Like you don't know what's in your environment. You need Tanium. But these things were always kind of still out there, right? And we've essentially solved that issue right now. And that's the most exciting part of the conference for me. Hmm.
That OT visibility that I personally have worked with so many customers who've wanted this, who've needed it, and we've jumped through hoops to make it happen. So seeing it come to life and seeing customers be like, oh, now I get to know what's happening. It's going to pull back some fun curtains, I think, on just what's out there that we just haven't been aware of.
Yeah, I want people to appreciate the journey it took to get there. I mean, we announced that hey, we might do this 2 years ago at Converge. And then last year we said we're going to do it. And somebody asked me, like, hey, are these keynotes like just a bunch of basically promises of what's coming next? Or are we actually going to see stuff? And I'm like, no, you're going to see real stuff. And we've got all the tech talks to back it up, too. We dropped all those. I'm sitting there Tuesday in the keynotes on my phone, flipping YouTube videos public, so you guys can watch them and get those details and deep dives. But one of the things I came away with on day one was with the ServiceNow and Microsoft, both those partnerships on the main stage. And we've had an AI agent integration with both of them for a while now. And the ServiceNow Now Assist, right? We've done a lot with that. And it's a different era for partnerships at the software level. These companies, these platforms, Tanium, ServiceNow, Microsoft, together, you've covered everything. And it's what I realized was this is about trading AI agents like baseball cards. I mean, we're as partners, we're trading AI agents with one another that enable these cross platform. I mean, we talk about within Tanium cross module workflows, but now we've got cross platform workflows with Tanium and Microsoft and ServiceNow from end to end because of these agentic workflows that we're building. It was just amazing to watch. And now that we've got 2 years of engineering, we had to re-engineer our platform to do the endpoint expansion with the Intune and the OT devices. And now we're actually delivering, and people got their hands on. I had fantastic feedback from that OT lab when we recorded that little clip that you can watch here on the channel. Lots of people just loving the OT stuff, as well as we had Jump Gate, Hunt IQ, some other things here. The Ask Agent was already live at that point. That was featured a lot as well. And then we had a lot of what we would call second tier feature releases.
We did announce something another thing that's super exciting for
Mm-hmm.
me is Tanium Jumpgate.
Oh yeah.
I know you flicked that video public while it was being announced. And when I learned about it just a few weeks ago, it was so exciting, right? Being able to open a CLI box on basically any of your Tanium endpoints is something I always kind of wondered in the back of my head, like why didn't why didn't we have this years ago, right? Well, it's kind of a difficult thing to architect and create. Um, but being able to create that and have it work so seamlessly and it's so fast and there's so many, and you can look at the YouTube video of it, so I won't harp on it too much, but some of the things maybe coming in the future are so exciting as well.
There's even on the smaller tier too. Like I love JumpGate. There's some of these smaller things that I love too, like batching endpoint actions with Automate, or announcing that we're going to do endpoint level triggers for Automate. Because up until now, our playbooks, everything is validated on the server side. It's like, hey, check in with the server before you do the next thing. And this is pushing that out, so we don't just have this centralized automation. We can now say, hey, endpoint, if you see this condition, again, under development, but glorious future. If you see this condition, take these 5 actions or whatever you may be. And I am excited for that because I feel like that's making this automation even so much more robust with just a little feature.
Yeah, it
Yeah, we
made me
had threat
feel.
response endpoint reactions last year, which was like that, applied only to threat response, but now do that with any kind of condition on any endpoint with any playbook. Is like, oh wow.
That's just what I was gonna say. Like when it's like the first time I saw threat response reactions, right? It gives you that, oh man, this is really exciting. And you start thinking about all the different applications and how many issues that fixes for us. It's very exciting. And that actually we just brought up threat response. We also talked about Hunt IQ, Tanium Hunt IQ, and we have another video on that, so I won't go too much into it. But that's another really exciting thing to see some of our just most talented Tanium people attacking this fervently, and it's and naturally being like threat hunters and stuff. That's just something that's always been near and dear to my heart.
And we always talk about stuff you ask for, right? And so
Mhm.
I'm just looking at my notes on things like they talked about localized confidence scores. So not only do I get a global confidence score, but what's the confidence score for this patch, in my environment only, or this deploy package in my environment only, right? It talks about comply to deploy. So imagine I've got a finding in comply. Now I want to go put a third party app fix. I got comply to enforce, which has been a massive ask for years, right? So I've got this thing that's no longer in compliance. I need to set a policy on the endpoint to make it compliant, right? There was some applause from the audience on some of these things. Global maintenance windows. I mean, everybody else has been asking for it. It's a lot of re-engineering on our side to make that happen. Things like that. All the Tanium script engine. So
Mm.
now you'll have another script language, Python like, to kind of use, because we've had VB script and PowerShell and Bash and all these different scripts over the years. And this has been a long time trying to solve this problem internally, because there are nuances to what language do you send down to the endpoint, and what concerns are there with that. And we have battled this in our engineering team for quite a while, trying to figure out what's the best path forward. And so we're going to have our own Tanium script engine now. And then also we've got, all right, direct endpoint connect is that back end channel that talks directly to the endpoint for a lot of these modules. Now it's going to go over the standard Tanium port. Oh wow! You talk about a savings
I forgot about
that's
that.
going to make things so much easier for so many
So many
people.
I forgot about
discussions
that.
with
That's a
our
good one.
firewall teams.
Yeah.
Yeah. Um,
Yeah.
And that's
you
kind of what we
know,
were talking about. Like so much stuff happened that it's hard to take notes of all of it. It's hard to recollect everything.
Mm-hmm.
absolutely. There were so many things that we haven't even mentioned that were AI based. And I feel like everyone either loves or hates AI right now, because there's the people who are like, guys, let's do a reality check. And then there's the people who see the glorious future. And I'm so excited to be at Tanium during this time, because out of all the products out there, everyone knows to get good AI, you need good data. And if there's one thing we kill it at, it's that great data. And so now things like, I think I have in my notes, agent-led remediation workflows that say, hey, here's a problem. How about I help you fix it? Um, AI-driven software management, like managing software, reclaiming licenses. So many different workflows that are out there, threat contextualization, that we're taking this data and you can slowly start to see us use it and put the AI on top of it. And I'm excited to see both these things come to life, but then what we build on top of them, like how far we can take this in a way that's safe, that our customers trust, right? That's a trusted coworker that works alongside us. But it's exciting to see.
Yeah. so we had three guests on the main stage. I guess more headliner style guests, right? So we had, we also had two Tron references. I just have to call it out. There were two Tron references on the main stage, folks. I'm right there. I'm telling you. And then I actually stayed over Thursday night to go ride the Tron ride. Yeah, it was worth it. So anyway, one of those Tron references came from Sean Bice from Microsoft when he was introduced, and he actually is asking Matt Quinn, hey, have you ridden the Tron ride? So we got that right out the gate. So Sean got points for that. First off, all right. But Sean said that this was an amazing stat. I'd not heard this. So a lot of people had heard of the Jaguar Land Rover breach, JLR, and the issue that they had. But he said that actually impacted the GDP of the whole, like the UK. Like I've never heard of like nation level impacts and the things that he talked about in his conversation. Make sure to watch that fireside chat with him and Matt Quinn. There was Zach Kass, former OpenAI. He referenced a paper called Unmetered Intelligence. That's the one I've got to go back and watch a couple of times. It was fantastic because I was explaining to somebody like he's been on this AI journey much longer than the rest of us. And so he's already had thoughts we haven't thought yet. Like all the way he's thinking forward few more leaps than the rest of us so far. I really encourage you to watch that one. And then of course, Jesse Eisenberg, on his talk, he's talking about how as an artist, how much the arts are being impacted by AI. And he took thousands of pages of movie scripts that he had written and dumped them in the AI. And he's like, I hope it doesn't get this right, because if it does, I'm going to be replaceable, And so he asked it to write an opening scene, and he said it was accurate, but there was no soul to it. And so he was just reassuring us that in the arts, the humans are still needed, and how to Jesh's point, how do we partner and work with AI for better outcomes? Not that AI replaces the humans all up. So those three main stage, those were day 2 and day 3 to get those interviews. If you're looking for the videos, really worth watching each one of those. I know I kind of ripped through all three of those, Alex and Jesh. What points do you want to call out from those guests?
I know Jesh and I watched the OpenAI conversation together, and my mind was just kind of blown the entire time. Like it was such an it was just an interesting conversation, but two, it's pretty rare for me not to be able to quite follow someone, right? Like he was speaking very quickly about very big, high level ideas and concepts, and I'm just sitting there like, okay, come on, keep up, Alex, right? Like.
I love it. Mine is way less technical. It's I've been reading way too much Jungian philosophy, and this idea that Jesse Eisenberg ventured of this does not have a soul. And my comment was like, yes, we need trauma to get a soul, and only people can get that, not AIs, hopefully. So, but that
If
yeah,
if AI starts getting trauma and building off that,
we're done.
Well, he talked about that explicitly though, like this movie that he just released, how it's about the human experience, and
mhm.
there's a lot of heart and soul in what he has been creating recently. He talked about one fun flick that he had done versus this one that was very real, very gritty, very reality. Right? There's a good point to that. Yeah.
100%.
You know, one thing that I also wanted to call out is, in addition to the keynotes, I believe a lot of the breakouts are available, not all of them, but some of them. And one of my favorite things to do is go back and watch all of the specifics. So our security team, our risk team, our endpoint operations team, et cetera, all have their own breakouts. And while main stage is for the big flashy product announcements, those are so much fun because they tell you, hey, here's what we've delivered, here's what's upcoming. And they're a lot more technical, in depth. I think something that a lot of our audience, you pick the one that you work in. And I think that can bring you a lot of value to watch those as well.
Yeah. Well, I've realized this is a recap show, and we're challenged to keep it at a reasonable length. We have if you haven't heard already, Jess, where are we going next year for Converge?
Oh, we're going to have so much fun. We're going to Vegas next year. So yeah.
Yeah, I already joked with these two that I'm going to save probably like just $10 a week, something like that, and put it all on red or black when I get there. So,
Yeah, we're going big. We're going big for Vegas next year. I think it just indicates, the direction and the trajectory that Tanium is on. We are unstoppable is one of our core values, and unstoppable business was part of the theme this year. Autonomous IT, unstoppable business. We're going all the way to Vegas. Go big or go home. Also, for resources, check out the playlist here on YouTube for Tech Talks because we've got all those interviews, the CTF interview. So typically, we will redo the CTF as a virtual event later in the year for those who didn't catch it at Converge. So keep your eyes peeled for that. I don't have any details yet. Keep your eyes peeled from that on announcements, looking at your email newsletters from Tanium, your account team, so forth. Watch out for that. I'm also going to drop a link for you to Zach Kass has a LinkedIn post where he wrote that unmetered intelligence paper. I'm going to drop that link in there as well. Of course, converge.tanium.com. Go watch the recordings. And then also in the playlist here at the top of the playlist, we've got all these new big product demos that you heard announced on main stage. We actually we got our ducks in a row this year, and we actually were able to get the videos out at release at Converge. So, so I'll give each one of you to hear a chance. Final takeaways, like if you could, sell people, help people sell their boss. I don't know, you want me to send you to Vegas, right? What would you tell them?
I think it's the same thing I would tell them any year for Converge is you have problems and you probably know what they are that you're struggling to solve with Tanium. And either you are going to pay your people weeks and weeks worth of salary to figure it out, or you're going to go there, talk to a few people who've solved this problem already in an environment really similar to yours, can tell you the ins and outs. You learn new things. Like return on investment is so real with what you get to take away from these.
and we even talked about this was my first Converge, actually. So we talked about this beforehand. Jeff mentioned it several times to me beforehand. I'm a huge education guy. I love getting more knowledge, love training, but the amount of information and knowledge and know-how you can get from just these hallway conversations with your peers, right? Not only your peers, but the people developing the tools you're working with, the people developing the technologies you're relying on. These hallway conversations are infinitely valuable.
Also, it's the only place being in person is the only place where you can get stickers. Just wave this sticker, show them what they missed. Yeah,
We're gonna try. This is
yeah.
an amazing sticker. It's shiny. It's so pretty. We'll have new ones next year, limited edition.
Yeah, every year in person. That's the only place you can get the stickers is in person at Converge. So, Josh, Alex, it was so good for us. Actually, this was the first time the three of us have been together in person, as well as several other coworkers. And so it was so good to be together in person there and to hear from so many of you who watch this show on the regular. Thank you for watching the show, and your clicks and watching the show helps us just continue to prove why this content is so valuable. So thank you for subscribing to the channel, liking the videos. We pay attention to that. We do, and we get to share that with others. So thank you for watching. And again, Converge every year in November. It's the week before U.S. Thanksgiving. And we really hope that we can see you in Vegas. So until next time, go
Go
Tanium.
Tanium.
So until next time, go
Go
Tanium.
Tanium.
Titanium.
Until next time, go
Go
Tanium.
Go
Tanium.
Titanium. I think we need an outtake at the very end here. Ashley, of you doing that tongue twister?
Oh,
How
yeah.
many? What was it? What was it?
How many talks could a tech talk if a tech talk could talk tech?
How many
That's
talks
so
could a tech talk
good.
talk if a tech talk could talk tech?
How many talks could a tech talk talk. Nope.
Yeah. How many talks could a tech talk if a tech talk could talk tech?
How many techs could a tech talk if a tech talk could talk tech?
Yeah. There you
So
go.
many.
Yeah. Yeah. So if you come up to Converge next year in Vegas and you could say that, you'll get an extra sticker.
Probably a $5 bill from me.